Welcome to Election Time News, the best area for political summations and poll reviews, as well as compilations on other similar channels. Today is Wednesday, September 18th, 2024. This is my first video in my state-by-state analysis series, going in order of poll closing time. First state as such will be the state of Georgia, with 16 electoral votes. Georgia was the closest state in the 2020 presidential election, where Joe Biden won only by 12,000 votes out of 4.5 million cast, being a margin of just 0.2%. However, this is still a stunning 5.3 point shift to the left between 2016 and 2020, which is one of the highest of any state in the nation, as seen here on Jackson Jude. Some of the states that actually did go further would be Kansas, Colorado, and Minnesota went by a bit further. New Hampshire, Vermont, that was mainly because of the votes that went for Stein and Sanders that then went for Biden instead. Connecticut. But very few states did have more of a shift than Georgia. As for the current standings, Polymarket has Trump at a 59% chance of winning the election. 59-41 against Harris. There has been a continual lead for Trump, holding against Harris for the past month or more, probably about since Joe Biden dropped out, and I believe this is the only state that Harris hasn't held a lead in at any point on Polymarket, besides North Carolina. Other forecasters seem to agree that Trump has a good chance of beating Harris in the Peach State, with Understand Politics having it go tilt Trump, On Point Politics with a lean Trump rating, Election Predictions Official having a pure toss-up, Red Equal Politics with a red Georgia, and Election Time having Georgia lean to Trump. All of these are all across the spectrum, as seen in my bias graph here. I only have 4 currently, but I'll be adding more later. And I can release this if anyone would like me to. I can also add in other predictors upon request and add their bias to the chart. For current polling, Georgia has a solid Trump tilt with a real clear polling having a 0.7 point tilt for Trump, 538 with a 0.6 point lean, and DDHQ in the Hill with 0.3 point lead. These are all well within the margin of error, but still a notable lead that he's relatively held on to consistently since the beginning of the month, as seen here on DDHQ in the Hill. And this shows a lean towards Trump recently after the month of August, which typically have more Democratic strong polling season. And now that has ended, it's it's a bit more accurate, and it shows that Trump is a bit in the lead with the slightly left tilted polls. Looking at 538, Trump has held a small lead since the beginning of the month, as also seen again on DDHQ in the Hill. Looking back at the 2020 results again, we can see that the large boost in the metro area, in the Atlanta metro area, especially in Fulton County, one of the fastest growing areas in the entire nation. Diversification of this region, the high Black and Latino population, helped bring Biden to win the state, as he did very well with these groups. However, recent polling shows Trump's making gains in these groups, so this will most likely harm Harris' campaign's attempts to keep the state blue in 2024. As such, based on this history in the polling, as well as a lack of evidence that the urban areas will stay a super secure Democratic core, I will be placing Georgia down as tilt Republican on our map. It's going back for some reason. I'd say it'd probably go to Trump by between 1 and 1.5 points on election night, probably about 50,000 to 60,000 votes. I think the urban cores will have a slightly lesser turnout, so we'll see a slight right shift in areas such as Fulton and Cobb counties, and see some undoing of the leftward shifts we had seen in similar rural regions in 2020. Looking at this county-by-county map of the state, the dark colors are counties that will mostly stay how they were in 2020. However, the brighter colors are counties that I expect will flip, as we can see the counties in the somewhat rural areas will likely flip back to Trump, but some of these counties near the Atlanta metropolitan region that were probably between 50 to 60 points for Trump will probably flip for Harris by a few points, However, I think overall the population in these red counties that are flipping back is more than there will be gained outside the metropolitan region, which would flip the state for the former president. All right, I don't see it going for Harris in total, so on our map we'll be putting it down as into the Trump column as a tilt state. Now, Georgia closes first at 8 p.m. Eastern, so this is just the beginning of the night, and this might be a slight signifier if it goes blue as to how the rest of the night will go, but we still next have North Carolina for my next video. North Carolina closing at 8:30 along with West Virginia and Ohio, and I will see you all then. Have a fabulous evening.